Hey, what's up guys? It's TechStreamer talking to you here, and today I'm going to talk about the iPhone 13 and go over some recent leaks that have come out about this new iPhone that is coming in 2021. Let's get this video started. Before we start, I just want to say yes, and I'm referring it as the iPhone 13, but I believe that Apple will call it the iPhone 12s. Why? Because as we can see in the recent years, the iPhone has followed a 3-year name cycle, which means that when an iPhone comes out with a new design, which is the iPhone 12 Pro or the iPhone 12, they go up a number. For example, they've gone up from the iPhone 5s to the iPhone 6, but after that, the second year, which is the S year, which before was the last refinement of the iPhone, they've gone up and just add an S, just calling it iPhone 6s. But after that, what they used to do was they go up a number with a new design. What happens now is that the iPhone does get some camera improvements and goes up another number. For example, the iPhone 6s to the iPhone 7. After that, it was supposed to follow the same cycle and the next iPhone should be called the iPhone 7s. But as we saw, Apple released the iPhone 10 and released the iPhone 8, so they skipped the 7s. Why? Because they are following now a 3-year schedule. Keep up with me. So, next, instead of calling it the iPhone 11, they chose to use the word iPhone 10s. Why? It's the second year of the 10 series, so they chose the iPhone 10s name. After that, they wanted to get the third generation of this design, the iPhone 11 Pro, giving it much better cameras. So it's called the camera year, where Apple evolves the cameras in such a way that it makes sense to call it a different number. Following that thought, they have redesigned the iPhone again on the 4th year of this cycle. So we are back up to the first year, the redesign, and they called it the iPhone 12. So this year, 2021, is the year of the S, so the year of some refinements. That's why we are talking and seeing that the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 12s, which is I think really called, it's boring. It's an S here, a better processor, slightly better camera, some improvements in small aspects that make it a bit better than the iPhone 12, but give Apple the reason to work on the next year camera improvement. I believe it will be called the iPhone 12s. In recent months, we have heard a lot about the iPhone in rumors, mainly from Jon Prosser and Mark Gurman. These two have been fighting for the most credible leaker trophy for a while. Jon Prosser has told us that the iPhone 12s or the iPhone 13 will get the same design as the iPhone 12, the same squared-off design, the same triple camera arrangement, and the same thickness in the display. What is being called true, and it's new in the leaks, is that the iPhone 12s or the iPhone 13 will have a smaller notch. First of all, I doubt it, because Apple has been trying to reduce the notch, or people are telling that Apple is trying to reduce the notch since the iPhone 10, and every year we say the same thing. Oh, it will have a smaller notch. But when the iPhone is released, it always has the same. Even the iPhone 12 mini didn't shrink down the notch, even though it's a smaller display. But this time, we have Mac rumors, Min-Chi Kuo, which is another very reliable leaker, and Jon Prosser saying the same three things, that the iPhone will have a smaller notch, but not as they think. It won't shrink down in width, but in size, so it will be a little bit upper on the display. Second of all, it has been discussed that the iPhone 12s, at least one of the models, the Pro Max and the Pro, will be portless. So instead of having the Lightning port, it will be ditched out only to be used as MagSafe and another proprietary connector. Well, Min-Chi Kuo has come out a few days ago saying that the new iPhone 12s won't be portless. USB-C is out of the question for every iPhone that's coming out in the future. As we know, Apple is not going forward with that port because they want to remove ports overall. To finish up the design, the thing that's probably being added this year, but it's not certain, and probably Apple is not sure either, is Touch ID. As I talked about on the Apple Watch video, you can watch it right there. Apple has figured out a way to unlock your iPhone with a mask using Face ID. So they use the 2 points of your face instead of the 3 that it's needed for the normal Face ID to work, and they use the Apple Watch as a third authenticator, which means you don't need Touch ID anymore to unlock your iPhone with a mask. So problem solved, right? Yes. But there's a lot of people still wanting the Touch ID on the iPhone because it's faster, and there are some people that like Face ID, and so Touch ID is more convenient for them. For me, I prefer way more Face ID. I've used Touch ID for years and I prefer way more Face ID, but there's a lot of people that prefer Touch ID, so Apple is still working on it, either under the display or the power button. But if Apple does it, I believe they will do it under the display or even they won't. But if they do, it will be pretty cool to see an iPhone that can be unlocked with both Face ID and Touch ID, or even using both at the same time to really be the most secure phone on earth. Also, there's some rumors brewing around that the iPhone 13 camera will be as easy displayed on that iMac. So all blacked out, you can distinguish different cameras. And for me, I don't think that's true, because Apple won't be redesigning this new iPhone. I think they will be using the same exact design. It will look exactly the same, probably with some different colors to differentiate it from the 12 series. One important thing that is coming out on this iPhone, which is very late to the game, but due to restraints on the supply chain, mainly from Samsung, Apple will be including in this phone an 120Hz display. So the new iPhone will feature 120Hz variable refresh rate, so it will be able to go down to 48Hz up down to 120Hz, which is amazing. I think it's very good. I like it on the iPad Pro, but I don't think it's completely necessary. It's amazing to have your phone fluent and very fast. That's the thing that you have to do now to make your phone faster, is to make it a bit more fluently to the touch. But if they don't do it, I won't be mad. I think there's a lot of people that would be mad. I like my iPhone 12 series as good as I like my iPad Pro with 120Hz, and my iPhone 12 Pro 60Hz is just as smooth. Finally, when talking about the display, Max Weinbach, which is a middle ground leaker in terms of Apple leaks, he has said that the new iPhone 12s will have always on display, like the Apple Watch has, not like the Android have, with just a clock and a battery charge symbol and level available. Not too complex, not to waste a lot of battery, but that's due to the new variable refresh rate display. Probably will be present on the iPhone 12s that can go down so low in terms of refresh rate that it's viable for Apple to put an always on display without wasting too much battery. Talking about battery, Apple will be including probably larger batteries, because the iPhone 12 series, although it has great battery life, my iPhone 12 Pro, it's amazing. Oh, and another thing, if you want a review for the iPhone 12 Pro, please tell me down in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe too. That will be very good. Going back to the battery thing, the iPhone 12 Pro has an amazing battery, 6 to 7 hours of battery life. But people are not as happy because the iPhone 11 Pro, it had even better battery life. So Apple downsized a bit in terms of batteries this year. So probably Apple will redesign the phone internally to fit a bigger battery, to have a little bit better battery life, to shut up the haters. But for me, always a bigger battery, better battery life, that's always good. Another thing that will be new on the iPhone, but it's a new single year, and we are not expecting anything else, it's the A15. So the A15, it will be the new processor, a 5nm processor, the last 5nm processor. Next year, the A16 will be 3nm. It's made by TSMC, so it's the best 5nm process in the game. It will be even better than the iPhone 14 in every single metric. So more efficient, more powerful, and even smaller and cooler, which the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max have proven to be a bit hot sometimes, so they need to improve the heat that comes out from those processes. 5G.
Today, we're bringing 5G, 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 5G. It's the 5G, 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 5G network.
Have you heard about that? I'm sure you did. But 5G will be present on the iPhone 12s or the iPhone 13. As we know, Apple won't get rid of that anytime soon, so you probably get used to that word 5G. 5G, though, in this iPhone 12 series, the modem is still the first generation, so it's very hot and wastes a lot of battery and is not as fast and reliable. But Qualcomm has launched a new modem, which will be present on the iPhone 12s, which, as we know, it will be cooler and it won't waste as much battery, so you can use 5G without losing too much battery, which is important. And talking about connectivity, the new iPhone is said to have Wi-Fi 6E. I mean, it's cool and all, but why won't you need another Wi-Fi standard when you have the Wi-Fi 6 and now Wi-Fi 6E? If you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, it's good because it won't be as cluttered with another Wi-Fi 6 devices, but I mean, it's just kind of incremental improvements. As you see, the iPhone 12s or 13 has this theme of incremental jumps. John Prosser also talked about having 1TB option on the Pro series. So instead of having 512 GB as maximum storage, probably in the future we'll be able to choose 1 terabyte option on the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. So you can store your big, huge 10-bit HDR Pro RAW footage on your gallery without worrying about storage. The standard models, the 12S and the 12S Mini, will probably have maximum 256 gigabytes, as John Prosser talks about, that Apple wants these customers to buy iCloud storage, not storage on the phone. Finally, the camera improvements. I mean, every year Apple increases the capability of their cameras, but this year it won't be different. As we know, the iPhone 12 had better cameras, a better wide lens, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max had a better ultra-wide and a better telephoto lens. But it's this year he said that the new iPhone 12s Pro and the new iPhone 12s and 12s Mini will probably have the new camera arrangement for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So Apple, instead of giving the better camera to the Pro Max as they did this year, they will have all the same cameras, and Apple will probably give the telephoto that they put on the iPhone 12 Pro Max on the new iPhone 12s Pro and 12s Pro Max, and the new ultra-wide cameras will also be improved, probably. Also, there are some talks saying that the LiDAR scanner will be added to the regular models, which I find out kind of sketchy because that's a Pro thing. Only the iPad Pro has it, only the Pro phones have it, but probably Apple is trying to get as many LiDAR sensors in people's hands as possible for their upcoming Apple glasses. If you want a video on that, comment down below also. If you want to know when the iPhone 12s or iPhone 13 is coming, you just have to wait until September, because this year they won't have any restraints on the supply chain and they will be able to launch the iPhone on time. Last year, because of the whole thing that happened, Apple was obligated to delay the iPhones until October, but this year I believe they will be on time. The second week of September, probably Tuesday, it will be the launch date of the new 12s or 13 series. All in all, the new iPhones are pretty cool. As we know, every year the iPhones get a little bit better, small jumps over time make it big ways, but I'm not upgrading. The new iPhone 12 Pro is just amazing. It's a phone to last 3, 4, 5 years. It's just too good to be replaced after only 1 year. And you can search online and people are saying about that. What will Apple do to make me upgrade? That's a very pretty big problem that Apple wants to have, because they want people to upgrade every single year, but it's pretty difficult for Apple to know what to do to make people upgrade when their phones are so good right now. They're almost perfect, that the improvements that they can do are just small and incremental and people won't notice it and they won't upgrade. So if you want a video talking about the future of the iPhone, mainly the foldable iPhone, I have a video coming on that. I just delayed it a bit because I don't know if that's your interest or not. I think the foldable iPhone is a very interesting team, but it's not yet disclosed if Apple is even thinking on releasing it. It's just on the prototype and experimenting phase where Apple is just touching the ground, seeing if it is worth it or not to make it. Well, guys, this is Tech Sumer talking to you. Bye.